is more important than treatment. It was only then that Kim Dan realized the man had called him for the sole purpose of satisfying himself. He found it very suspicious, but thinking about the money made him anxious, not knowing what to do. He had never done anything like that before, and didn't know how he could do such a twisted and terrifying thing. But he really needed the 5 million now. With his grandmother still in the hospital, he still has debts to pay. In the end, he grabbed the man's clothes. "Please keep your promise. Please make sure you give it to me." Looking at the boy with his pleading expression, the man flashed a smug smile. Kim Dan's first night was lost just like that. Kim Dan repeatedly confirmed that he would really get 5 million, right? Jae Kyung answered him seriously, looking at his tall figure. Kim Dan's little heart pounded faster and faster. "Have you tried it with a man?" Such a direct question. Kim Dan was startled. What should he do? Should he say he had tried it? Does he even have to say this? Jae Kyung didn't seem to care much about this. Seeing him make up his mind so quickly, Jae Kyung took one step forward at a time. He should be experienced, right? Saying this, he took another step closer. Kim Dan's face turned red as he said yes. He had never done it before, but at this moment, he felt he shouldn't lie. Jae Kyung looked at him since he was experienced. Then there was no need to hold back. He roughly lifted Kim Dan's clothes. This sudden action scared Kim Dan. He hurriedly grabbed his clothes. Using the excuse that he wanted to take a shower first, he tried to buy time. Jae Kyung was a little impatient but still agreed. "Then hurry up." Inside the bathroom, Kim Dan began to struggle internally again. Should he just go out now and tell him not to do it? But if he said that, he might end up like that guy earlier getting beaten. How did things end up like this? He recalled how that perverted director had treated him before. Could he really go through with something like this? Suddenly, Jae Kyung stormed in from behind. "Hey! You've been in there for an hour." This time, he directly grabbed Kim Dan's hand and pulled him out. He flipped him over and threw him onto the bed. Kim Dan was forcefully thrown onto the bed by Jae Kyung. Then came rough pulling. Kim Dan struggled desperately. But Jae Kyung threatened him if he moved again, he would crush his ankle. Kim Dan was terrified. At this rate, he probably wouldn't live to see tomorrow's sun. He really couldn't go through with this. "Are you kidding me? We've come this far. Telling me you can't do it? Do you think I'm easy to fool? If you waste my time like that guy earlier, I definitely won't let you leave alive." Hearing Jae Kyung's words and recalling the scene of that guy getting beaten, Kim Dan shivered. Jae Kyung was annoyed by how troublesome he was. But he still gave him some time to relax. But in the end, his approach was still very rough. "I know you all don't like watching what comes next. I'll watch it for you." The long night passed. The next day arrived. The floor was a mess of passion. Jae Kyung woke up first. Next to him, Kim Dan wrapped himself completely in the blanket. Only a bit of his hair was visible. Jae Kyung, in a good mood, sprayed some perfume. He even happily poured himself a glass of milk. He gulped down his breakfast milk. When he came back, he noticed something was wrong. He lifted the blanket to check. It turned out Kim Dan had slipped away while he was showering. Jae Kyung couldn't help but laugh. Yes, this made things more interesting. The next day, during the competition week, Jae Kyung won the match again. Today's match was also of a historic level. The coach couldn't stop praising his performance today. In the car, he kept complimenting him. No matter how many times I watch, it's always amazing. You did great today, Jae Kyung. Very satisfying. But today, his condition seemed even better than usual, so the coach asked if he had done something different. Jae Kyung didn't think much of it, he just made some changes for himself. In his mind, the image of Kim Dan's petite figure appeared. This was exactly what he wanted. So far, he had tried with many people. But this was the first time he had performed so well. So he told the coach that he had decided to hire the new physical therapist to be his exclusive therapist. The coach was overjoyed. Even the top instructors in the industry couldn't satisfy you before. This is great, I'll make the arrangements. Jae Kyung looked out the window with a smug expression, admiring the scenery.